What do the rich buy that the poor don't even know is available for purchase? Kidnapping insurance. Can confirm. I worked for a place where the CEO was very hands-on and would oftentimes fly to countries that were less than stable to sell the product. In case of kidnapping, we had insurance for him. For anyone else that traveled with him that might get grabbed. And contingency plans in place for what we needed to be doing and who to contact in case this happens. There was a Reddit story once posted by a guy who claimed to be in such a position. Maybe on our Tales from Tech Support a few months or a year ago. Not a business owner, but a senior engineer in a large oil, natural gas extractor. The guy who knows where to tap to make things work. He claimed that, when working in one unstable South American region, he was kidnapped by two brothers. Having been in such a situation before, he gave them the contact info of the kidnapping insurance, and then gave them a stack of cash to go buy as much liquor as they could while they were out. He got them dead drunk, then walked next door and told their mother on him while enjoying a bowl of their mother's stew. The mother chewed them up one side, then down the other, and the sons dropped him off at work the next day. I worked for a major company that had employees in sketchy places, war zones. We had a blanket kidnap and ransom policy for every employee. Basically, if any employee was kidnapped, they'd pay out X millions to professional negotiators to try and free us. I never got a chance to use it, partially because I worked in Virginia the whole time. Good to know we don't have to worry about getting kidnapped if we go to Virginia. My favorite line from Exporting Raymond, a doc about Phil Rosenthal's quest to bring Everybody Love Raymond to Russia. Greater than, they said. Just make sure you have KR insurance. I asked what KR insurance was and they said kidnapping and ransom. But don't worry, it never happens. I said, it happens enough for there to be an abbreviation. I'm not rich and I also had kidnapping insurance when company wanted me to go on a project to Afghanistan. Insurance covered dismemberment, so my mind was at peace. Private jet timeshares. For those not quite rich enough for their own private jet. Or those rich people wanting to be a bit frugal. The really rich motto, if it floats or fuck, you rent it. I was a mechanic for a while and one of the guys used to always say this. Drives, flies, floats, or fucks. That being said, I was a superyacht engineer for a few years. I'm glad someone bought them, but I wouldn't wish superyacht ownership on my worst enemy. More often, it's because they want the option to get different jets. Flying with my wife. Small jet will do. Flying 20 of my friends to my island. Time. All that crap you do, commuting, grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning your house, waiting on hold, paying bills, all those chunks of your life that are eaten up by minutiae. Rich people buy out of all that routine garbage. Time is all you really get in your life. Rich people buy it back. This is the answer. No need to scroll. Even Warren Buffett and Bill Gates do whatever they can to get back time. The only commodity that is finite. No. I'm pretty sure poor people know rich people can buy services. The poor people are usually the one performing the services. Honestly, my first thought, when I figured out I could pay people to do my chores for me, I felt like I hacked the system. I kind of like cleaning and laundry. Now that I'm an adult. It's relaxing. Like meditation. This is really not a bad way to look at life even if you aren't wealthy. I have a kid and a small business to run. So now when the guy the first met in economics class 9 years ago hits me up on Facebook, and asks me to drive 45 minutes through traffic to catch up over a beer. I really have to think about whether it's a good use of my time. He probably just wants to invite you to his MLM, so it's a good thing to ponder. Something they do that most people don't know about is buy entire libraries at once. My sister used to work at a bookstore, and told me someone came in and wanted to furnish their library with a library-size purchase of books. They just wanted cherry-picked bestsellers left to the discretion of the people working there. It sounded wild. Some wealthy people also buy books as decoration, with no intent of reading most of them. They buy books from wholesalers by the linear foot, specifying how the books look on the shelves, size, color, material of spine, etc., without any regard for what the books actually are. They just need to fill wall space in library office rooms in their homes. That sounds so sad. How can you buy a book and not read it? I used to work in a bookstore. I would have loved and hated this task. Definitely would have hated restocking a week later. Why would you pick from the store shelves rather than just custom order from your supplier to be drop shipped to their home? Hey, boss, how many different harem-themed manga can we order? If you're willing to fork out $35,000 for the player and $500 per showing, you can watch films that are currently in theaters in your own private home theater. Wow, who would have thought a private showing is only twice as much as a normal movie ticket? Yeah, I mean, if you just skip the snack bar at the theater, it evens out to the same cost basically. I can't afford it, but that's a lot less than I would have thought. Landing 747s in small airports. I grew up around Lexington. Kai. The region is huge on horses, particularly thoroughbred horses. The entire city is surrounded by horse farms, and these farms breed some of the best racing horses in the world. The rich and famous will often come here to buy thoroughbreds to add to their breeding stock. One such person is a sheik from Dubai, I think, who owns his own private 747. Now, the local airport isn't rated for 747s, and it's not legal to land one there unless it's an emergency. The sheik doesn't care though and lands his 747 there anyways. The airport fines him every time he does this, which he is totally fine with paying. I've been told that many of the upgrades to the airport over the years were almost entirely funded with money from those fines. In London, rich people figured out it was cheaper to just park on the streets illegally and just pay the fines every day than to pay for parking in the city. So the city started clamping cars. So the rich people started paying people to go and pay the fine for the car to be unclamped before they wanted to leave. I've heard that now, in response to this, the police have changed their policy for certain parking spots. Instead of just booting the car, they'll have it towed right away, and then scrapped. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Slam bam boom. Away to the scrapyard. The rich people in London have started to take those no parking zones a bit more seriously after that. Even if they could afford to buy a new car every week, it means that they'd be out a car the moment they set food back outside. Underage sex parties on private islands. Don't forget, Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. If you were surprised by his suicide, imagine how surprised he was. You don't have to go to a private island to be on an underage sex party. You just need some contacts in a third world country. This happens all the time in my country. It's disgusting that these things still happen. Private boarding gate at certain airports. Complete with showers, a spa, full bar, lounge, food, a bed, gym, sauna etc. Total privacy. Your luggage is scanned and taken through security by a concierge. And you're driven to the plane in a BMW 8 Series. LAX has them now. Hello. Yes. I would like to order some wealthiness just so I can have access to the private boarding gate. Yes. I'll hold. Thank you. Fran. This guy doesn't even have enough money to have someone else call for him. Just leave him on hold for an hour. Yeah, but then when you get on the plane you're still stuck in the cattle car of first class with all the other plebeians. The animals in the back are even still breathing the same air as you. Clearly a private jet is the only civilized way to travel. Specialized household staff. When someone is truly mega rich, running their household takes the same complexity as running a small to mid-size company. And management is skilled and compensated accordingly. Don't think butler, think head of operations at a luxury hotel. The staff that household managers oversee can be really specialized as well. For example, Larry Ellison has his own personal curator to oversee his collection of Asian art. They do things like *advise on the purchase and sale of art in his collection. *oversee storage and display of art housed on his property. *oversee process of lending art for storage and display at museums. The curator will often have their own staff to conduct actual conservation work. Art transport, art installation, etc. So if you've already got an in-house crew of 7 people focused on your art collection alone, imagine how big your entire household staff is. That's why you've got a household manager. One of my friends comes from a super wealthy family. We stopped by her parents' house and of course it's a mansion with a full staff. The lead maid took one look at me and guessed my size. From there she laid out several outfits that had been bought but not worn for me to take home. It was surreal. A well-trained staffer can do that. They specialize in dressing and grooming. They are there to make the home and head of household perfect. Hey man. It's me, your cousin. Can you take me to your friend's house one of these days? Yeah, I was hired a few times by a housekeeper of an ultra-rich guy to fix everything electronic in the house. I installed smart mirrors in the bathrooms. I built and maintained a theater in the basement. I installed sound systems, maintained a small server in their house with Microsoft Server and VMware for different parts of his business life. I did a fuck ton of side work in this guy's house for probably 2 years. I worked on various things. Made pretty good money. Paid for a car and my daughter's birth and paid off a lot of loans with that gig. This guy though had a staff of people. They didn't live there except for one person who house-sitted full-time. He was the guy who scheduled all the work. People don't even know what wealth is. Just here to say this is very accurate, and I have done consultation work for someone in this position in Canada. The home had more contemporary art per square inch than the MoMA. I asked the woman who ran the household if she had a favorite work from the very impressive collection. She told me deadpan, "Oh no, I hate contemporary art." What people usually think of as a butler is actually a valet. A butler is traditionally in charge of the dining room, wine cellar, and pantry. The valet position more closely resembles the duties of a personal assistant.